Which is the ultimate Hagrid? A question that's been on the forefront of the fandom for decades. Now, I've made a lot of Harry Potter videos, but they have all been leading up to this, the most important piece of content I will ever create. So please join me as we compare every Hagrid in Harry Potter games. Now, we're going to do this in chronological order, so let's start with the Philosopher Stone and its many different versions of Hagrid. And straight away we have the myth, the legend himself, PS1 Hagrid.
Good to see you.
Now, despite his notoriety, this incarnation of Hagrid is actually a terrible person. He makes this orphan risk his life just to fetch fire seeds to hatch a creature he acquired illegally. And later in the game, he pulls Harry out of school mid-term just to get some ingredients for his tonic.
We need 3 peacock feathers, 1 eagle owl feather, and 3 giant purple toad warts.
And look, he doesn't even help you, he just buggers off to go get drunk. Now next we have the PC Hagrid. This one looks a lot more like a human being, but there is that slight Playmobil model quality to him. And he doesn't actually move his mouth when he talks.
Good to see you.
And this one also makes Harry risk his life to get some fire seeds. When it comes to handhelds, the Game Boy Advance Hagrid won't even turn to look at you when you're talking to him. Meanwhile, the Game Boy Color Hagrid is actually there from the very start in Diagon Alley. Yes, he kind of looks like one of the dwarves from The Hobbit, but just look at that strut. Okay, let's move on to the Chamber of Secrets, where PS1 Hagrid makes a return.
Wasn't that fun, Harry? Do you want to play again?
Once again, he takes Harry to Diagon Alley and just buggers off drinking. Now, this PC version also had a slight wardrobe change, and he must have started using some product in his hair because it looks so rich and thick. Meanwhile, the PlayStation 2 Hagrid used for the first 2 games is an absolute unit. Better step away from him, Harry, before he gets hungry. He might mistake you for a chicken wing. It also looks like they use this model as a basis for the Game Boy Advance Hagrid, while the Game Boy Color Hagrid remains the same. The PC and console versions of Prisoner of Azkaban both went for a look that's closer to the movies. He's still pretty huge, but this time he's also surprisingly agile. On the contrary, the Game Boy Advance Hagrid is surprisingly small, but his beard does bob up and down when he walks. When it comes to Goblet of Fire, I did find this 3D model of Hagrid online, however I couldn't actually find any instance of him in the console game. He is in the handheld version, and it kind of looks like they recycled and slightly updated the Chamber of Secrets model. But he did return in the Order of the Phoenix, and he can be found right outside his hut. You can talk to him, just don't expect the most stimulating of conversations.
All right, Harry.
As for Half-Blood Prince, you only really see Hagrid in the Slughorn cutscene, and he seems to have taken on the consistency of a chocolate Santa. Hagrid does make an appearance in the first level of the Deathly Hallows Part 1 flying his bike. You can jinx the crap out of him and he doesn't seem to mind. He also makes an appearance towards the end of Part 2 in this cutscene. And this Hagrid has some really funky hair and beard physics, plus he just can't seem to stand still. And look, he's also absolutely unfazed by what everybody thinks is dead Harry just leaping out of his arms. The Nintendo DS version of Hagrid has the opposite approach. He actually pulls Harry into this awkward long hug. And finally, we have the Lego Hagrid. And to date, this is the only playable iteration of Hagrid. You can play as him right at the start of years 1 to 4, and he uses his umbrella instead of a wand. And I was glad to see they made a special large minifig for old Rubius. Shame the same can't be said about Chewbacca, who used to be the same height as a 9-year-old Anakin. And so there we have it, every version of video game Hagrid. And now that we've compared all the Hagrids, let's rank them in a tier list. And this is the easiest tier list I've ever done because Hagrid is an absolute legend and every incarnation of him is an S tier in my book. And that's it, folks. I hope you enjoyed this little April Fool's video. Let me know your favorite Hagrid in the comments. And as always, thanks for watching. Please remember to like, subscribe, hit the bell, follow me on Twitter, and I'll see you next time.